Welcome to episode 26 of Things That Go Bump in the Night. We've got a lot of decent news to talk about today. I'm obviously joined by my co-host, Chris. How you doing, dude?
Man, I went to Southend at the weekend and it was bloody awful. It was just heaving with people.
Yeah, mate.
Heaving with people.
Southend.
Hello, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was just while you were talking, I was just thinking, because I was thinking, oh God, I'm so hot. And it was so hot at Southend. And we noticed that there was just an abundance of Speedos and bikinis, more than usual.
Really?
Right? Yeah, and I worked out it's because people can't go abroad, so they've just crammed into Southend.
Good point. Yeah.
And like there was people, that very short strip where they've got palm trees. There were
Yes.
there were girls taking selfies in front of that.
Of course it was.
And I'm just thinking, mate, Southend, not bloody Los Angeles.
See it everywhere now, man. You see it everywhere. It's crazy. Yeah, it really is.
Did
The
have a good
last
time in the
time.
arcades, though. That was good.
Sorry, say that again.
Did have a good time in the arcades, though.
Oh, the arcade's all back open because the last
Yeah,
time I went down there, they're all closed.
all open. No one's social distancing. No one wearing masks. Honestly, me and my family were the only ones wearing masks in the arcades and on the streets. You want people to break out and have a good time, but the vast majority of people weren't even attempting to stay out of each other's way.
No, you've seen it, man. I think as this is getting kind of, I mean, can we say it's getting towards the end, but as we're getting closer to it, let's say.
It was the same when I went Hastings was even worse. Didn't even get out of the car. We just drove and found a quiet beach somewhere else.
Right.
But the thing was, South, really don't want to ruin anyone's fun, and everyone's, desperate to get out. But just you got to be sensible. If you see a big crowd of people, steer clear. There's plenty of beach. Go.
Well, do you know what? Right, this is so. As you know, I'm a massive theme park fan, mainly Disney and Universal in America, right? And especially the California parks, which are smaller and not as popular as say the Florida parks, right? Everyone knows the big Florida parks. I'm a big fan of the California parks, and I know that today, as of this recording, June 15th, the restrictions in California have basically all been lifted. So you can go back to whatever. And I was watching a guy on YouTube that was basically saying about what's changing and everything like that. And he doesn't work for Disney. And he said that even though there's no social distancing and queues and that, he was like, that does not give you license to stand right up next to me. He's like, this has got nothing to do with a pandemic. Just give me a couple of feet of room, please. And it's true though, isn't it? It is this thing of like, people do, I don't know what that is, why people feel the need to like cram in and get so close to each other. And
I don't.
Yes, it's weird, man. That's got nothing to do with a pandemic either. Just give me some space.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Crazy, dude. All right, man. Let's get into some horror news. We've got a few big stories, actually. I'm going to say they're all pretty big stories. And we are kicking off with one that when this news dropped about a week ago now, you sent me a message and you said, we're recording soon, right? Like, Scott, please, this is the first story. This is the first story. Of course it's going to be the first story. It's huge news. I am talking about that Rob Zombie is officially confirmed that he will be directing a remake of The Munsters. So, Chris, we haven't actually spoke about your feelings towards this. What are your feelings towards this?
My feelings are this, Scott. I really love the Munsters. I've always loved it more than the Addams Family. It was the one that, I don't know which one come first. It was probably the Addams Family. But when I was growing up on terrestrial TV, it was just that the Munsters were the ones that we got. And I really have a good love of that old program. Love the silliness of it. I love Rob Zombie's horror films. I've dropped out of a few of his more recent ones, but I'm a big fan of his horror films.
Yeah, I am.
The problem I have is, can you necessarily mesh those two together? Now, as far as I could be completely wrong, but as far as I'm aware, Rob Zombie hasn't done a comedy.
No, he hasn't. Why? So this is most people's concern. right? When this news dropped, most people was like, how does Rob Zombie's really down, gritty, graphic style of horror play into what was a family sitcom?
Yeah.
Now, I don't think it's going to, because Rob Zombie has done quite a few interviews where he has said that his favourite program growing up was the Munsters, and he absolutely loves it. I don't think he's going to change that. I don't think we're
No,
getting an
I think he'll do
R-rated.
it right.
Yeah, I do. He's got so much love. Out of anyone I've ever seen speak about this, he probably speaks about it with more love and care than anyone I've ever heard. So I don't think he's going to go in and ruin it purely because he doesn't want to see that, right? I don't
Yeah.
think it's going to be this like a Halloween situation. I don't even think that's bad, because I like Rob Zombie's Halloween purely from the idea of, a lot of people said, well, you know, this is completely different from what
It's different, wasn't it?
John Carpenter did. Well, yeah, but so it should be, because what you're going to do, try and do what John Carpenter done? What's
There's
the
no
point in that? No, you can't improve on that, right? You can't improve
Scott,
on
we know your feelings on John Carpenter doing what John Carpenter did.
I love John Carpenter's Halloween. I love John Carpenter's Halloween. It's just that fucking, yeah, that new one. Let's not get let's not get into that. But yeah, no. I think this is, yeah, I think this is gonna go somewhere quite interesting, and it's either going to, for me, it's either really, really gonna land, or it's just gonna fall flat on its face. I don't think there's any in between here.
No, because he's obviously a brilliant candidate to do it because of his love for it. It's just, can he? Has he got the ability to do funny?
Yeah, that's true.
It's a very innocent program, isn't it? It's you know, they're all monsters, well, all but one. But you know, it's not a um there's no malice to it whatsoever. I actually find it more lighthearted than the Addams Family.
Yeah, yeah. Shall we talk about have you seen the cast list for this?
Yeah, well, Sherry Moon, there's a
Obviously.
surprise.
Obviously. Playing Lily. That's no surprise, right?
Well, I would have been surprised if she wasn't in it.
Good point. Yeah. And then Jeff Daniel Phillips
Who is
as
Daniel
Herman.
Phillips? I'm looking at his face. It rings a bell. His face rings a bell.
Well, he was in his last film, wasn't he? I know he was in Free From Hell.
And Lords of Salem.
Hold on. Let's have a look. Was he in Lords of Salem?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's done quite a few horror things. He was in a film called Satanic Panic, which was pretty good a few years ago. And then, yeah, various smaller horror properties. Couple of episodes of Westworld.
He's the kind of person to me who most people aren't going to know his name, but you'll see his face and you'll think, I've seen him in stuff.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. That's exactly who it is. Like I said, off the top of my head, I could pull 31. I know he was in 31, but not 31, sorry. Free From Hell. So I knew he was in that, but the rest of it I just had to double check on. The rest of the cast list, though, two names that really stand out to me: Richard Brake, who I'm a big fan of, again from Free From Hell, and 31, lead character in 31. Recently popped up in The Mandalorian as well, for you Star Wars fans out there. And this is the one that I really like: Cassandra Peterson, better known as Elvira.
I mean,
what do you think of that one?
She's perfect for it, isn't she?
Well, here's something. Have you ever seen any of those films?
The Munsters films or the Elvira?
The Elvira films.
Yes.
Now, the fact that she's in this, and Rob Zombie is a ginormous fan of hers as well, and her films, they're all comedy. They're a very certain type of comedy.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Now,
she could be the anchor for the whole thing.
I think she will. I think she will, because here's why. The Munsters, very, very family friendly.
Yeah.
Rob Zombie, not very family friendly. The Elvira stuff,
the exact opposite, really.
Yeah, the exact opposite. You couldn't get further. The Elvira stuff kind of walks a thin line between them both, because there's obviously the more sexual gags that appeal to an older audience, but they're not completely outrageous where they wouldn't work for like a teen. I would say they're probably even more geared towards a teen audience.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
reckon
It's the
that
kind of
could
thing.
be the balance.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's the kind of comedy that like a well, a 13, 14-year-old
Yeah,
would
yeah.
enjoy.
I think that's what we might get.
I also think that if this does well, I'd really like to see a series of it as well. Because
I
I
was
think,
surprised this wasn't a series.
yeah, me too. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't even know if I've seen the Munsters films. I love the series, and I assumed this was a series first off. Um, perhaps they're rather than commissioning the whole series, perhaps they're thinking an hour and a half film and see how it does.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty excited for this. Just because it's one of those that is it can just go so many different ways. But like I said, I don't think this is gonna land in the middle. I don't think this is gonna be I'd be shocked if it's mediocre. I think this will either be flat, like a full flat on your face, or
Yeah,
like they're gonna smash it out of the park. And
I
it's
think
just gonna work.
with something like this, the other big danger is you're going to get he's going to find himself walking a tightrope between having all these new people come in and say, wow, what's this, it's fantastic, I love it, and then all these old hardcore fans saying, well, that's not right and that shouldn't be like that. And do you know what I mean?
You're always gonna get that. I mean, the less said about those type of people the better. Because the idea of watching something purely to complain about how it's not the original,
Yeah,
that I'd never understood that, man. Just go and watch the original. If like you were
the
not going
original
into
hasn't gone
this,
anywhere.
right? Exactly. It's not ruining the original. I hate that idea. The idea of like, oh, you've ruined my childhood. No, you haven't.
Well, it's like, have
It's
you
still there.
this is a very slight segue, but have you seen the apparent recent uproar on Kevin Smith's new He-Man?
I haven't seen an uproar about it. I saw the
So
trailer drop for it.
yeah, so the trailer with "I Need a Hero,"
Yeah.
all that. Mark Hamill doing his Skeletor, that's kind of a cross between Joker and Skips from regular show.
Yeah.
But apparently there's all this uproar because of being accused of being overly woke is the words that's being used,
Oh man, we're gonna get
and
onto that in a bit.
and the accusation being that the women characters are outshining He-Man.
Yeah, we're gonna get onto those fucking people.
I mean, obviously, I watched the trailer, and I I didn't pick up on that at all.
No, because it's not a problem for you.
Yeah,
That's why you didn't pick it up, because it's not you're not scared of women shining as much as men do, or you don't need to see women portrayed as purely outrageous sexual objects even in a kid's fucking cartoon. That's why you didn't pick up on it, Chris, because your brain don't work like that. The reason these fucking like I just can't stand these people. Like
well,
you
there's
see it all the time. You see it in the comic book world, right? You see it where
yeah,
new comic books come out, and finally, over the last 5 years or so, we're starting to get a lot of a very, very good representation of comic book writers and artists at
yeah,
major companies. And now you're seeing that especially the female characters are being portrayed differently. Now that definitely is a problem for me, because actually, as someone that grew up with very strong female connections with, the people I idolized growing up was my mum and my nan and people like that. So for me, being a comic book fan and reading it and seeing the way women were portrayed in comics with these outrageous body types and these ridiculous outfits and stuff like that never made sense to me. So the
yeah,
fact you have these 50-year-old men that live in a fucking basement somewhere that are just complaining about
mm,
why is this outfit changed, why is that, we got it with a Birds of Prey film
yeah,
where it was like, well, where's Harley Quinn's hot pants gone, where's all this gone, and it's like, oh, that's what makes it a good film or not for you.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous, you know, because you're not complaining about the Suicide Squad film where she was in the hot pants, despite that film being god awful. But you're complaining about Birds of Prey because she's not in skimpy outfits, yet she's a complete badass in that film, and that's a great film. Like, Birds
Yeah.
of Prey is one of the best DC like films of the modern era. So the idea that, oh no, we can't get on board with it because of what she's wearing, like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, if you
Yeah.
actually ever actually had a conversation with a woman in your life,
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Do you know
Absolutely
what?
ridiculous.
I'm literally the exact opposite of that comment, because I can remember when Suicide Squad come out, I actually thought, when I saw her, I actually thought, well, where's the Harlequin costume and Big Hammer?
No, yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, because you do get a glimpse of it, don't you? You
Yeah,
get a glimpse of it in the film, and I was like, oh, that's really fucking cool that they you know,
at
there's that
least a nod
idea.
to it.
But yeah,
But what
the
what was really good was Kevin Smith's put down to all of this on Twitter. He said, if by woke folk means the female characters have agency, then Revelation, which is the He-Man title, is exactly as woke as the cartoon to which our series is a spiritual sequel.
yeah,
Because in the original, Teela and Evil Lyn were in every episode, fighting alongside He-Man and Skeletor, and Sorceress is more powerful than all of them.
yeah.
So
I
there
mean,
you go.
this is the most ridiculous. We've got a Neil Gaiman property that I am a massive fan of that we're going to talk
Oh
about in a
yeah,
little bit. And I don't know if you've seen the backlash to that, but we'll get into
I
that
haven't. No.
but it's
All right.
ridiculous. Yeah, crazy. Right, from one very famous property to another, we've got some images that have come out of Jurassic World Dominion. Now, these images are from a sequence in the film that takes place 65 million years ago during the Cretaceous period. So we're actually going to see some flashbacks of the Cretaceous
Yes.
period, and with dinosaurs that look a lot more like the way science believes they look now than, you know, when the original Jurassic Park film comes out.
Yeah.
This kind of threw me for a loop. I wasn't expecting this. What do you think?
Yeah, I never would have. Sorry, can you hear the ice cream van in the background?
I can. It's hot. It's hot, man. Everyone
It's
needs to
very
ice
hot. But you see what I mean? I've got the window shut and you can still hear it.
and you can still hear it.
I
Yeah.
am having my windows replaced, but
Yeah.
yeah, well the thing I never would have thought of it to do that. But then I'm thinking, well, where else can they go with this?
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
done just about anything. And I'll be honest with you, I really liked the original with the new ones.
The first
What
one,
was that?
Jurassic World. Yeah.
Jurassic World. Really liked that
Yeah, I
film.
did.
Really
I
enjoyed
did.
it.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, not intentionally, I haven't seen the second one, Lost Kingdom, Last Kingdom,
Fallen
Lost
Kingdom.
Kingdom,
Fallen.
Fallen Kingdom,
Fallen
Fallen
Kingdom.
Kingdom. I've not seen it, and it's not because I didn't like the original or I've avoided it. Just haven't
Yeah.
seeked it out,
Got
if
him.
you like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Haven't. I do. I want to watch it. What really caught my eye about this was that Sam Neill's going to be in it. I don't know if he was in the last one, but I'm
No, I
very
don't think it
happy.
was. Jeff Goldblum had a
Yeah.
small role in the last one, but I believe they're all back for this, right?
Yes, that's right.
Isn't
Yeah.
Laura Dern in this as well?
Yes.
Man, that's
Yeah.
fucking awesome. She hasn't been back since. Did she have a little bit in? She had a
She
little
was
bit
in the
in Lost
second,
World.
the original
Yeah,
second.
but only for a little bit, right? She had a little
I
cameo
think
in
so. Yeah.
the Lost World where, but yeah, basically she was at the start and then I think pops back up at the end. But yeah, man, I mean, cast list stat, the fact that we've got the original three back. Yeah, I'm all for this. I'm all for where this is gonna go. This has got Colin Trevorrow back, who stepped away for Fallen Kingdom, made Jurassic World, stepped away for Fallen Kingdom, and is back now. I didn't hate Fallen Kingdom. I mean, Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom are both very flawed in certain areas, but I'm also a massive sucker
But
for a
they're
Jurassic Park
fun
film.
film. They're fun
That's
films,
it.
right?
That's exactly it. Yeah, I think they are that kind of, you know, you go in and you hope that there's a little bit more to it, like there was with the first one. What I really liked about Jurassic World was this idea that in a world where that park is successful for a certain amount of time, with today's young audience, that would become boring very, very quickly.
Mm.
And I really appreciated that idea in that first film. It's a very simple idea, but you know, I did like that. I did like the way they portrayed it. But Fallen Kingdom took it in a little bit of a different direction. You know, some stuff you had to try and get on board with. I was kind of okay with it in the idea that it kind of went full batshit B movie with a plot point, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see why a lot of people would hate that. But considering the original idea of a lot of Spielberg's early work was taking these crazy B movie ideas and making them major blockbusters, yeah, all right, I'll kind of get on board with that, you know, see where it goes. Like I said, it is flawed, but I was kind of there for it. I really like the idea of this. The fact that I think this is, I don't think there's too many details, but the idea that the dinosaurs are now just kind of taking back over the earth in certain areas and stuff like that. I really like that. And then I guess that's where the flashbacks come back in. Where I guess there's going to be like how they used to live compared to maybe now how they live or something like that. What do you think?
I kind of feel it's one that I think this. I'm assuming this is going to be the last film they do for a very long time.
I believe so. It's meant to be like the closing out the trilogy.
And I'm hoping that there's going to be more significance to the flashback than just this is how the mosquito got into the amber, because otherwise, even though I think wow, it's going to look amazing. What's the point?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I can imagine what it was like back then, and we've seen it a million times. Albeit this is the most up to date, scientifically correct, most advanced CGI. Probably a bit of puppets in there as well as they move away from CGI again. Good thing too. And I just think there has to be something more to it. Otherwise, you're just filling up a bit of the film. I don't know.
I agree. I'm excited to see where it goes though, because we haven't seen that before. So I'm excited to see where that could go. You know,
the most exciting thing they could have done for me, and they won't do it, is if they brought Samuel Jackson back. Now I know what you're going to say. He died in the first one, but did he really die?
Yeah, I mean, does anyone ever really die?
You only see his arm.
Yeah, it's true. That is true.
And how about this? As a bit of a weird kind of Matrix conspiracy, his arm gets chopped off in Revenge of the Sith, thus proving that Samuel Jackson's character in Jurassic Park is Mace Windu.
Oh my god!
And if he's Mace Windu, then there's no way a dinosaur beat him. He should be
very
back.
True. That's the crossover we all need. Dinosaurs versus Jedi.
Luke Skywalker on a Velociraptor.
Oh man, that's the one. That's the one you want to see. Hell yes. Yeah, dude, I'm all for this. I'm very, very, very much looking forward to it. Unfortunately, we've got to wait another year for this. This isn't coming out till June 10th, 2022. So quite a way away.
I mean, they're expecting this to be a massive deal because this whole article is about the fact that coming soon is an extended trailer for it.
Yeah, so where this all dropped, where these images come from, for those of you listening that don't know, is in front of Fast and the Furious 9, or just titled F9, which opens at the end of this month in IMAX. They're going to be showing a 5-minute teaser, which I believe is the Cretaceous period stuff. From what I've read, I believe the teaser is that bit. So yeah, have you, before we move on, have you seen the short film that Colin Trevorrow made just before this, they started this, which is like Jurassic World? So if you, and for anyone listening that hasn't seen this, if you go on to Colin Trevorrow's Twitter account, I believe it is still he's pinned. Let me just double check. Yes, it is. So it is still his pinned tweet from September 2019. And it is a little short film called The Battle at Big Rock. And it is maybe the best Jurassic Park film outside of Spielberg's original classic. It is so cool. Yeah, man, it's so good. It's so good. Go and watch it. Honestly, it's so good. Yeah, absolutely loved it. And that's meant to be a teaser for where this is heading, where the dinosaurs are now just roaming into the real world. It's cool, man. It's really good.
Awesome.
All right, dude. Moving on to a little something I did tease a little bit ago. So as you all know, I'm a big comic book fan, and possibly my favorite comic book series of all time, definitely one of my favorite comic book series of all time, is the Sandman. And as you know, probably everyone knows, Netflix are currently filming a live action Sandman series. Now, this is, I mean, God, this goes back years and years and years. Everyone's tried making a Sandman series, and Neil Gaiman's always kind of fought it and made sure it didn't happen unless it was happening the correct way. And finally, he's involved in this. He believes this is the correct way. And what I sent you over was a behind the scenes sneak peek that Netflix have released. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But I said that there was some controversy around this.
Yeah,
Now
before you say what that is, so just I'm a massive comic book fan as well. I've read through the Sandman a couple of times. I haven't read for a while, so my memory is probably a bit patchy. However, I watched this trailer. Before I'll tell you what I think of it, not trailer, the behind the scenes. When you said there was some controversy with like fans and what people think, I genuinely can't imagine what you're talking about.
Okay. So it isn't really around that behind the scenes. It's around the casting of the film. So certain casting decisions have been made that people say have taken away from the original characters in the comics, and it's just Neil Gaiman, because Neil Gaiman has, from what I understand, basically full control over this. So he has been involved in the casting process of everyone. And there is a non-binary actor that has been cast, and I believe the race of certain certain characters may have been changed.
Right.
People have gone mental.
Do you know who?
People, I know the one that most people was kicking off about was Death. Was the fact that I believe Death, who is female in the comics, or actually across, depending on what one you've read.
Yeah, but I thought across the comics, I thought Death presented itself in different ways.
Yes. Now, yes, you are completely right. However, that is obviously not how most people remember it, and they remember the female version, and that is the only version.
It was a young girl, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was like a young, a little. I can't remember. It was either a little kid or a teenager. I don't know, tween maybe.
Yes,
I can't remember.
That's all they. So that's what some people want. That's all they want. They just want a girl to play her, straight up female. Neil Gaiman has, they've taken this in a different way, and rightfully so. Like, even if it was updating the original material to make it fit for a modern audience, yeah, right on, do that. Why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you make it as inclusive for as many people as possible? However, you've had a lot of people say about this is ruining the original material, and why would you change characters that people are falling in love with, for a TV show and all this. He, to his credit, he has clapped back at all of this, to the point where if you go on his Twitter and see people arguing with him, there are people telling him that he's wrong. How the fuck are you going to tell Neil Gaiman he is wrong about his choices? Like, I just don't.
Imagine that's like going up to Stephen King and saying, Pennywise. Stephen King saying, "Did you know Pennywise is actually this ancient extraterrestrial, multi-dimensional being? It isn't actually a clown." And someone saying, "No, you're wrong there, mate. It's a clown. Look, he's got a balloon."
Yeah, it's just no. Honestly, it's so laughable to see people's arguments as well, where like there's one guy that literally just was going off on him, saying about how, yeah, but this isn't the same Neil Gaiman that wrote Sandman back in the day. This is now the new woke, like, pussy version of Neil Gaiman. And it's so fucking stupid. It's like toxic masculine. I don't even know if it's masculinity, because I wouldn't consider any of these men that are clapping back to be masculine. It is toxic fandom, right, to the extreme, where they're like, oh, this is ridiculous, this is crazy. But the best thing is, like, the way he comes back, where he's just coming back going, well, you're obviously not that big of a fan because you haven't read, not that you should read everything, but don't come in and say it's one way if you haven't read the whole source material and then don't understand what we've been doing over, quite a long publication period.
It's his work. It's his work that he's been very
It's crazy, man.
protective
It's
of.
crazy.
I think he has probably said, "We'll get in the best person for the job."
Well, one of the things I saw that was absolutely brilliant is where some guy said to him, "Oh, you're just being woke for the sake of being woke. Why didn't you why have you not created this is an agenda now, it's an agenda now, so that shows that you're woke because it's never been something that you've bothered about before. You've never created like characters of color before." And he just quote tweeted it and he's like, "No, it's not like I wrote something called American Gods or anything." It's just like, you don't even know the guy's history. You're literally going off at him
Well,
and you have
exactly,
no
and
idea about the
you don't
characters he's created.
you don't know as well. The industry back then. I mean, this is like 30 years old. The industry back then, everyone would have been expecting to see constantly white people as the vast majority. So you got no idea what pressure someone could have been under from the publishers and that kind of thing. Well, we like this character, but it's not going to hit our readers,
Well,
or whatever.
of course. And if you actually look back at Neil Gaiman's history, the fact that he does have so many characters of different race, sexuality, you name it, he covers quite a lot of bases in, a lot of stuff that dates back, 10, 20, whatever years. He's been at the forefront of fighting this shit. Like, he's one of those authors that you can't have this argument with. You just can't have this argument with him. He's been doing this stuff since he started. Like, to say that he's changed for the Netflix thing, like, you're ridiculous. You just don't understand. You don't understand the man's body of work. You just don't. You can't.
I mean, they've cast a woman as Lucifer, haven't they?
Yes.
Now, I seem to remember in the comics, and I might be wrong, I seem to remember Lucifer being fairly androgynous, but a male character. And I seem to remember, white flowing clothes, and I seem to remember there's a scene in hell, and there's like a giant fly and Beelzebub and this weird eyeball Hell King as well, and Lucifer being one of them when Morpheus goes into hell.
Yes.
And they've cast a woman to play Lucifer, and I mean, it doesn't even register. I mean, it's why not? I mean, if these are genderless characters, these aren't human beings. They could be whatever they want to be. Secondly, it's Neil Gaiman's damn book. He can do whatever he wants.
He can do whatever he wants. He can honestly do whatever he wants.
The only thing I would be upset about, and you may disagree with me here, but so allow me to explain myself. The only one I would disagree about is if they've made Morpheus different from a white man. And the reason I say that is because the imagery in the comic of his very, very pale skin against the blue-black hair, I think is iconic. When I think of the Sandman, I think of that image. Well, I think of the mask, and then I think of that very stark black, dark blue hair, white face. And I think if they'd made the decision to cast someone else, for me at least, it wouldn't be the Sandman. Morpheus.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I think I wouldn't be that concerned with it.
At least in this iteration. See, for me, I mean, I would say do this, and then once it's done, if they want to do future ones, I just think it's so ingrained in my mind that is Morpheus. It's like, I mean, I'm a massive fan.
I completely agree. That is definitely, that is definitely the look, and they have gone with that look.
Yeah, exactly. When I saw who they'd cast, I thought, yes, he can play Morpheus easily.
I think personally, for me, like, looks is only part of it, and it's what the character embodies.
It's true, and I've undone everything I've said because, of course, Morpheus can look however it wants.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think, I'll be interested to see where they take that, actually. And I should correct myself. It isn't death that is non-binary. It is desire. But Death is played by a black actress, and I believe that's what everyone was kicking off about. Because in the comics,
do you know what? That's even worse.
black female. But
So,
it's
yeah.
crazy, right? That they're kicking off about an actress's skin color that's playing. It's ridiculous. You ain't even seen it. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, if you watch it and you don't think she was the right actor for the part,
Yeah.
and you wanna respectfully but critically say that you don't think she was the right actor for the part,
Yeah.
fair enough. Like, if you are ever gonna say she doesn't deserve it purely because the color of her skin, like, go get fucked. I have no, like, I will not beat around the bush about that. Like, if your idea is purely someone does not deserve the opportunity because the color of their skin, fuck off. Like, if I, like, and Neil Gaiman probably would have this same opinion, but if anything I create that would be your opinion of, I don't want you watching it anyway. I don't want you as part of that fandom. I don't want that. You've got something fucking wrong with you. If, like, you genuinely think like that, like, if you're not, imagine being like me and you are, Chris, right? Imagine being a big Sandman fan. You love Sandman. You love the stories. You love the comics. You love the unique world of Sandman. Now imagine Netflix have picked up the Sandman and Neil Gaiman's involved. Finally, the guy that
Massive
created it is
budget.
involved. Massive budget. Probably
It
the
looks
best
amazing.
home for it, right? A home that doesn't have to rely on ads or anything like that. They are going to throw the money at the wall. Now imagine you are getting a series with Neil Gaiman behind, with a A-list cast, right? And you have been waiting forever for this. Imagine just not being happy about that because the actress that is playing Death is not white. Like literally, that's the only thing. And you're like, no, I can't get on board with this. Go get your head checked.
Yeah,
Go
you're right.
Go
And
get your
it's
fucking head checked.
people's concerns here, and nothing to do really. And it's nothing to do with the creativity of the work, the creative direction of the work.
Yeah.
It's racism, pure and
It's
simple.
racism. It's
That's
racism.
all it is.
It's racism. Because here's the other thing. I love a Sandman. It ain't fucking real. It's a comic. It ain't real.
Yeah,
It ain't
there's
real.
that point as well.
It ain't real. Like, it's ridiculous. It's just so fucking crazy. It's so crazy, man. I honestly don't understand it. But let's move on to happier things, right? Because I think me and you and everyone listening to this, right, we've made no mistake of our hatred for this kind of stuff. So anyone that's still listening to this podcast, you are probably in agreement with us. That stuff is ridiculous. Equal opportunity for everyone is not taking opportunities from anyone else. It's purely, it's just equal opportunity for everyone. And why wouldn't you want to see that? Why would you not want to enrich yourself with people from all over the world and different cultures and interpretation of characters from people that might not have got 10 years ago? Come on.
Wasn't there the same issue with The Cursed Child, where the stage play Hermione was played by a black actress?
Yeah.
Same thing. There was uproar from people. I mean,
man, like,
what?
it's just crazy. It's not real. It's not real. Just enjoy it. And you know what? If you can't get on board with that and you can't go, just don't go. Just don't watch it. Just don't. But keep your opinions to yourself. That, like, I don't get that. Like, I don't think that makes you any stronger of a human being or makes you some, like, masculine man or standing up for your country or it just makes you a fucking arsehole. You're weak. You're weak. You're not strong. You're weak.
The thing that becomes really apparent is, and I'm not diminishing the hatred that people must go through, but you see a lot of the moment in England about anti-Semitism. There's a lot about, like, online hatred of transgender people and non-binary people, and obviously that's terrible. But there still seems to be this fundamental: someone's black, they can't do that. This person can't play that part because they're black. It just seems to be that even after all this time, you think as countries we've moved forward, there's still that absolute gutter view that someone is less than you because of the color of their skin.
If I had to sum it up, I think when it comes down to it, it's got nothing to do with that. It's got nothing to do with the color of someone's skin, or it's got nothing to do with where someone comes from or their religion or whatever it is, because that doesn't make sense. Like, fundamentally, that doesn't make sense that you you would genuinely think someone is less because the pure reality is it is people that are very unhappy with who they are. They're very unhappy with their lives. They're very unhappy that they have not carved out the opportunities they believe they deserve. And they need something to moan about, because moaning about something makes them feel better. Complaining about something makes them feel like they have some worth. They have a say in something, right? They have a say. They can stamp their flag in the ground and say, nope, I'm not moving from this argument because this is what I believe, right? Even though they don't, if you genuinely, you don't even need an argument. You genuinely want a conversation with them about why do you actually feel that way? They can't do it. They can't explain it. They can't, it just turns to, the most unintelligent hate you can imagine, because they actually can't express themselves because they have no idea why they feel that way.
No.
The truth is they feel that way because they feel they need a stamp on something. They need an argument on something. And, why would you go back to this? Why would you really get upset that Death is played by a black actress? Or why would you get upset that a non-binary actor is playing
Desire?
Why would you get up? Why would that upset you in your day-to-day life? It doesn't. But what it probably comes from is that when you were into comic books and when you were reading Sandman 15 years ago, you were bullied for it because comic books weren't popular 15, 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
So you were bullied for it. So now you feel like you have to, you had to defend yourself back then. You had to put up with people bullying you. And the funny thing is, most people that go through that, they don't come out the other side going, cool, I don't ever want anyone else to feel like that, because that felt like shit. They come out of it being a bully themselves. And they come out of it turning into themselves. So now, they have this thing where they're like, well, I went through shit being a comic book fan when it wasn't popular, and people picked on me, and girls didn't like me, or whatever it was. So now I've got to defend it to its core and gatekeep from other people, when it should be the polar fucking opposite. You should be like, people didn't let me in before. People didn't accept me before. So now I'm going to accept everyone. Now I'm going to open the door for everyone, because I don't want anyone to feel that way. But people don't do that. In my opinion, that's what it really comes down to.
I mean, I have no evidence to say that this was the case. I really don't remember, but I'm nearly 100% sure there would have been this same backlash when Miles was introduced as Spider-Man. The first black Spider-Man. I could imagine people would have been in uproar. And for those that don't know, I'm white. I'm very white. In fact, my grandparents were Austrian. Can't really get much whiter than that.
Can't get much whiter than that.
And my son's white. My youngest, well, all my children are white, but
I was
my
gonna
youngest
say.
son loves Spider-Man. You know who his favorite Spider-Man is? Miles Morales.
Yeah.
It gives you hope, that he just doesn't see it as an issue at all. That's Spider-Man to him. He knows there's Peter Parker, Spider-Man, but he loves Miles.
There's no kid in the world that's born with hate.
Exactly.
There is no kid in the world that is born with hate. It is not something people are born with. If people are born with anything, they're born with love. From the moment you drop, you are born with love. Hate is taught. Hate comes from your parents. It comes from the people around you.
So
kids
basically,
that grow up racist.
What you're saying is I'm a fantastic parent.
Yeah, damn right, man. I've told you that before. You like
keep the praise coming.
Dude, no shit. Like, you are the conversations me and you have had about the stuff you open your kids up to, the idea of different religions, via music and stuff like that, and different races and stuff like that, and equal opportunity for everyone and stuff like that. That's the way that, like, I don't understand why you wouldn't do that. I don't understand why you would condemn your kids to anything less, because that's what you're doing. You are giving your kids a shorthand if you are giving them any less than a wide open world.
Yeah, completely agree with you there, Scott.
It's just crazy, man. So anyway, dude, big Sandman fans, let's get back to it. Let's actually.
I was going to say, that behind the scenes looked good, didn't it?
Oh man, yeah, I know, yeah, Jesus, dude. But you know what? It just. Man, maybe I shouldn't go off as much as I do, but it just winds me up. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
I'm sure Neil Gaiman would be very happy if they just did everyone a favour and just didn't watch it and didn't comment on it.
Yeah, damn right. Yeah,
Means have that opinion. I don't like it. I don't agree with it.
yeah,
But no one cares. So shut up.
damn right. Yeah, damn right, man. Right, behind the scenes, this looked excellent, right?
I thought it looked absolutely fantastic.
Oh
The
my god,
the,
it looks good.
the budget, it looked like it was like Harry Potter's level of millions and millions of pounds
Yeah.
at the production. It looked absolutely fantastic.
Oh man,
They
the fact that they're designing all those giant sets, that makes me so happy. That it's not just like green screen and stuff. Oh
it's all, and even like Morpheus's mask.
yeah,
That looks so good.
how cool is that?
You could see Neil Gaiman. He's literally looking around in wonder.
Yeah,
Say, you
yeah.
can see him looking at things, thinking that's it. That's what was in my head.
Oh, it's so good, man. Like the scale of it, the like you said, the props, the mask, the sets, oh everything. Like I just love that it's just not a, because with this especially, I think you could have easily fallen into the green screen trap. You
Oh
just
yeah,
shoot all green screens, right?
yeah.
And it would kind of work in a way, but the fact that they're doing it with all real sets, real props, obviously going to enhance it with a bit of visual effects. But man, yeah, it just makes me so happy to see that
I'm
this
so
is
excited.
finally getting the love and care it deserves.
Do we know anything about when it's coming out?
No, I don't believe so. I
Is it wrapped or is it in production?
No, it's from what I understand, it's in production now. It started filming now. So I mean,
So probably sometime next year.
yeah, best case sometime next year. Has to be, right? I don't think they're going to drop it this year.
Nah, I wouldn't have thought so.
No, I think this will be next year. But what a thing to look forward to next
I
year.
don't know though. I don't know though. I could see this as like a winter viewing.
I could see it as a winter viewing if I believe the next season of Stranger Things is dropping at the end of the year.
Oh, is it?
So based on that,
They'll push.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, I don't know if they'd want to, because that's going to be, they're going to go for a big old push on Stranger Things. So I think, yeah, they might hold off on this. I don't think they want them to clash, but they could bring I think Stranger Things is done. It was meant to come out a while ago, I think. So if they bring that forward a bit, could we get this Christmas time? Maybe.
That'd be good. I do feel like Sandman could be. Do you know what I've got in mind? One of like the Christmassy BBC productions. And I know the budget is way out of the BBC's league, but I just feel
Just
like I would enjoy this cozying up in wintertime.
oh hell yes.
Not that I've got a fire or anything, Scott. Cozying up by the
Yeah.
radiator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh man, I completely agree. This would be a great winter watch. With that said, then I could see it dropping like around New Year, maybe January time, because
Yeah,
they could get that done.
yeah.
Like if they're filming now, get it done within like the next month or two. Yeah, that would be a good one
January
to get the
2022.
first few episodes. Yeah, to get
I
the
reckon that
episodes.
could be right.
Yeah, I reckon so. All right, dude, that's enough of that. Let's get on to the creepy link of the week, or should I say the unsettling link of the week. This one you've outdone yourself here. This
Oh, you
is
you enjoyed it?
oh, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm a sucker for this. This is why you sent it over to me. But it's damn creepy, man. Go on, what is it?
So I had in my mind, I thought I want to find something with a puppet. So I hadn't seen this before. Um, I didn't know this guy was. He's got a massive YouTube channel, loads of videos like this. His name's Graham Annable, and he does the Grickle comic book series for Dark Horse Comics. I wasn't familiar with his work, and I watched this and I loved it. Loved the style of it, which I'll come on to in a minute. But I just had in mind I wanted to send you something to do with a puppet, and when I found this called Dummy, and I watched it and I thought, man, it is really really unsettling. And yeah, what did you think of it?
I was not expecting it to go the way it went, and yeah, this is again like we keep getting some of these creepy links where just in case you're someone that watches the Creeper Link after we talk about it, I really don't want to spoil the exactly what happens here. But yeah, I was not expecting this to go the way it went. I really like the animation. I think the animation is quite creepy, actually. It's a very good choice of animation. The music is very good. The fact that there's no dialogue at all, right?
Yep. Well, there's some muttering. There's some muttering from the dummy.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. You're correct.
Yeah.
You are correct. And that is the fact that that's all there is really in terms of dialogue is great. The first time you see that, the first time he like pops out of the trunk and is by the side of the bed. I'm not going to say any more than that, but yeah, that is great. That is.
I mean, it got dark very quick.
Yeah, it did. It gets dark very quickly. It's creepy. It's unsettling. Man, it's great.
I actually felt the art style reminded me of the old Pink Panther ones with Inspector Clouseau. You know, that kind of pointy nosed, all head kind of shape.
Good point.
Reminded me of that. I'm assuming it's been done digitally, but it looks like it's almost like chalk or charcoal lines.
Yeah.
And
well said.
the kind of harpsichord, really dissonant music, the two combined, it really reminded me of a 70s, late 60s Amicus horror.
Okay, what one?
Just the general feel.
Oh, just the general feel. Yeah.
Just the
No, I'm
direction
with
they
you.
take
I'm
in
with you. Yeah.
their production. Like
I'm with you. It has got that. It's got a very
funny
old
angles, the
timey.
lingering shots, and the kind of diddling,
Yes.
diddling.
Yeah.
It just struck us. I mean, you want to talk about good and bad parenting? My dad, as I said before, my parents split up when I was 9, and well before my parents split up, my dad was letting me watch Amicus horrors. So they've got a special place in my heart and nightmares. So when I saw this, it triggered something, and I thought Amicus. It just there's something about it that really, he got it right for me. I thought it was really unsettling.
Man, I'm with you. It's very that's what I said. It's not so much a creepy link, it's an unsettling. Like it is
Unsettling,
really unsettling. Yeah, man. Yeah, well done. I'm not going to say any more about it because, like I said, if you are someone that watches it after the podcast, go and watch it. Check it out. It's called Dummy. Chris, you outdone yourself again, as you always do. You always do, sir. You never disappoint on his creepy link of the week. Never.
Well, thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me again, dude.
Pressure now.
Yeah. There's a lot of pressure for the next one, right? Exactly.
Oh God. Next time I'll send you a clip of Paul Blart Mall Cop because hey, is there anything scarier than that?
Not really. That's a pretty
I
terrifying.
don't know why I've said this. I don't know why I keep saying that because I
You
quite
love
like
that
the film. It's just an easy target for me, but I do like the film.
It is an easy target. Huh? All right, dude. Thank you so much for joining me, and I do apologize again, boys and girls, for the delay in getting these out there. The next couple of weeks may be a little bit like this, but yeah, we will try and get these out.
Any reason, Scott? Got anything coming up in the next couple of weeks?
We do. Yeah, we've got the a little thing called the Black Sunday Film Festival coming up at the end of June. Well, I'm not going to tell you too much because I think the next episode we're going to do, Chris, is a full breakdown. So yeah, so stay tuned for the next episode. That will be coming. Until next time, boys and girls, stay very, very safe.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.